Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Sporting Max. Where today we're joined by former Hawthorn Hawks Security Guard. He's the team manager of the Australian men's under-17s team, the Crocs, and then the Australian men's under-19s team, the Emus. And he's been through and met some of the greatest Australian basketballers and up-and-coming basketballers, Dante Exum, Ben Simmons, Josh Giddey, and now Premiership AFL superstar Christian Petracca. It's Mark Sainsbery. Welcome to the podcast, Mark. It's an absolute honour and a pleasure and a privilege to have you on. How you going at the moment?
Mate, I'm great, Max. Thanks very much for having me. I'm a little bit surprised you wanted to talk to someone who's not a celebrity per se, like some of the other people you've had on. But I guess my story is pretty unique in some ways. I've just been a hoops junkie all my life. So, I'm more than happy to have a chat to you and tell you what I've done.
I love to get into like all the different kind of angles of sports and things like that. So I think we had LA Lakers security guard John Stern on 20 episodes ago now. I think that might have been. Yep. But I like to get all different perspectives on sport and how people view their sports, and in particular basketball. So it's great to have you on the show.
Thank you.
I'd like to start off with sort of your childhood and what growing up was like for you.
Look, I grew up in a suburb of Ashburton, and I went to Solway Primary School, and then later on went to Swinburne Technical School in Hawthorn. I was like a lot of kids, sports mad. I think I got that from my father's side. He was a pretty good footballer and cricketer when he grew up in Ballarat. So I played junior footy at Ashburton Methodist Junior Footy Club, and then cricket at All Saints East Melbourne. And I loved both of those sports. And then I was introduced to basketball, I think I was about 12, by a family friend, and the footy and cricket sort of fell by the wayside a little bit. It was basketball just consumed me. I guess that was. I watched my friend play in the old bank competition on a Wednesday night at the old Albert Park Stadium, and I think being close to the action was what I really enjoyed. And as things progressed, I think it was a night where they were short on numbers, and they ended up whacking me on the court, and I think I was only 12, and it was pretty daunting playing against grown-ups and much stronger, but I really enjoyed it, and it sort of made me want to work harder on my game. So that's where it sort of started for me, and then I got into rep basketball. I played at Preston Devils and then Melbourne Tigers, and I was lucky enough to get selected in a Victorian under-18 schools team, and we toured America back in 1978, 79. So that was, that was just an unbelievable experience. And, I've been back to America a number of times now on tours. So I think the first tour that I went on really made my mind up that I wanted to get back to the States. And, luckily I've been able to. And then once I finished junior basketball, I actually joined the Victoria Police Force, and I played in the Australasian Police Championships. But it was a bit tough. I found it a bit tough work-wise, and the demands of work to play a lot of basketball. But I still enjoyed my time in the playing in the Police Championships, and there was certainly some good players there, some former NBL and state players that played in those championships. So after that, after I finished playing, I obviously retired after I snapped my Achilles.
Ouch.
Which wasn't the best. But anyway, there's a lot of people that have done that. I decided to sort of give back to basketball a little bit because it had really given me so much. So that's what I got into coaching, and I started coaching under 10 girls team down at Sandringham Stadium, and coached a number of years domestic, and then eventually I got back into the rep scene and went up to the Waverley Falcons and coached for 8 years, I think it was, on the girls program up there. So, and that was great. Managed to win a couple of back-to-back VJBL championships, which was really special. So and then and it was at Waverley where I got asked to become the team manager for the state champ women's team.
Wow. Yeah.
So I jumped at that. It was again, it was just something else to do in basketball. Had some great teams there. Unfortunately, didn't win a championship there. We managed to play in 3 consecutive grand final series against Broadmeadows Broncos, but it was the Broncos that took the chocolates on each occasion. So I think I was TM there for about 6 years, and then I moved over to McKinnon Cougars, and I did another 5 years there with their state champ women's team. Which was really good, and I guess as a result of that got me into the TM for the high performance program. So I think it was back in 2011. Alan McCortray was the head coach of the Vic Metro Under 18 men's team, and he rang me and asked me would I be interested in helping him with the campaign, the 2011 campaign down in Tasmania. So, that was an unbelievable experience. And so that year, Dante Exum was a bottom age player. So it was funny because I didn't really know many of the under 18 boys because I've been working with on the girls program. So. I just always remember the coaching staff saying, Dante Exum, he's a good player. He should make the team, and I thought, I was looking forward to watching him train because they're pumping him up so much. So, so Dante was a bottom age, and we went to Tasmania, and unfortunately we lost to New South Wales Metro by 3 points. But look, personally, I just found that year, so rewarding being able to help the athletes there. And then the following year, 2012, we went over to Perth, and obviously Dante was a top age player there. But also in that team was Ben Simmons as a bottom ager. So and it's a lot of people say that the standard of the athletes at those championships was unbelievable and probably the best ever at any championships. So it was good. Like Ben himself was as a bottom age. I don't think he started any games, but he certainly had an impact when he came on the court. And most games he was having 20 points and 15 rebounds. But again, we couldn't get the job done, and we lost by 1 point in the gold medal game again to New South Wales Metro. So it's sort of interesting in Dante's 2 years at under 18 level, never managed to win a gold medal. So I've been with the Vic Metro team since 2011 now. So there's been some great players. Obviously, Josh Giddey. He was 2019 in Townsville. Was probably, I think, the best game I've ever seen a Vic Metro player play. In the gold medal game, we were 17 points down at half time against South Australia Metro. And Josh had a pretty good first half, but we just weren't getting the job done. But after the main break, Josh just went next level, and I think dropped 37 points or something, and we got up and won by about 7 or 8. So that was a really pleasing win. And as you said before, we've had some. I think the last count was about 17 of the athletes have cross-coded and gone over to AFL. So the first who's really made it big time was, as you said, Christian Petracca. So it was 2012. But there's been some. There's still some kids playing Tommy Wilson at Collingwood. So Joel Smith at Melbourne. Mickey Luxford played at Geelong. So there's been quite a few. Which, good luck to them. They've done well. So so the Vic Metro side of it is something that just I absolutely love. As I said, it's nothing better than helping these kids, and there's a bit of pressure on them at the national level, and I certainly try to make it as calm as possible away from the court and have a joke with them. But look, as long as Basketball Victoria want me to keep doing it, I'm more than happy to stick my hand up to do it.
So what was that like to get to know, Ben Simmons, Dante Exum, and Christian Petracca, and like you mentioned, Josh Giddey before, and get to know those four guys over the time that, they were all at Vic Metro in their years?
Yeah, I guess it's pretty surreal to think that, like in my time, there's now been three boys that have gone in the top 10 in the NBA draft. Look, they were all great kids, as all of them have been. One thing that I find really special now is, if I walk into a stadium and I see one of the athletes that I've been involved with at the championships, and they come over and we have a chat, and the big smile on their face says to me that they've that I've hopefully played
made an impact.
So and of course I love getting a selfie with the boys, and but look, those boys were really, really good. Look, it is pretty surreal to think that Josh was going around at under 18 Australian Championships in 2019, and then
2 years later he's in the NBA.
Well, today, I think he dropped 18 and 10 rebounds.
Yeah, he dropped. I think it was like 19, 18, and 10, and then the other day he had like 18 and 8 and 7.
So it's he's certainly he's well on the path to a successful career, and good luck to him. That's really good.
So as an 18-year-old, who do you think out of those three guys, Ben Simmons, Dante Exum, and Josh Giddey, looks, I guess, like the more promising talent if you got those guys together in the same year and put them in the same team?
Well, I think Dante was exceptional, unbelievably talented, and the both years that he played, he was by far the best player at that age group across the board. He was very good. So Ben, I was with him for the 1 year when he was the bottom major. Josh actually, in his bottom age year, he didn't get selected in the team in 2018. He was an emergency, but 2019 in Townsville, he was very good. In fact, he was, in my time, he recorded a triple double up there, and that's the only Vic Metro athlete in my time that's done that. But I think, I think Dante was really, really special, and unfortunately, he's had some injuries.
A lot of injuries.
Which has been a shame,
but he's got the bronze for the Boomers.
Absolutely, we love that. Everyone stayed up to watch that. No worries.
You mentioned earlier your time at McKinnon as an operations manager. How did that opportunity arise for you?
Actually, I, at the time, I was doing the team manager role for the state championship women's team. So, and a position opened up in the office. So I spoke to Alison Cody, who was the general manager at the time, and decided to put my hand up. And so I applied and successfully got the job, which was good. So I think I spent about 5 years in the office there, and I just did lots of things, set up stadiums, it was really good fun. And then, I played a part in McKinnon used to send teams over to the States on basketball tours. So I played pretty big role in writing the itinerary for that, and I just wanted to maximise the overall experience for those kids, when we got over to America. So it was a lot of fun at McKinnon, but look, I moved on. My background, I was in the police, as I said before, in the police force for 10 years, and then I went out into the corporate world. So I've been, I'm a licensed investigator now. So after I finished at McKinnon, I went back to my real trade, I guess. So, which is what I'm doing now. So
yeah. I want to get into your sort of time as an investigator or copper. Can you elaborate on the courses or things you had to undergo on the process it takes to become a part of the Victorian Police Force?
Yeah, so when I started, so I finished fifth form at Swinburne Tech, or what's that, year 11? And then I went straight into what was known as the police cadets, and it's no longer in place now, but basically 16 and 17-year-olds joined the Police Cadet Academy, which was at the time was in Spencer Street, the Savoy Hotel. And we basically did a 2-year pre-police academy course. And then when I finished in the cadets, I went out to the police academy in Glen Waverley and did 6 months training there. And then graduated and hit the streets. So it was great fun. Had a lot of enjoyment in the police force. Lots of great people. But yeah, and then I got out. I got offered an investigator role. So that was when I went out the corporate world, which has really been fun too.
What's the best part or your favourite part of like you mentioned, being an investigator role?
Well, I'm sort of like what I've tended to do is a lot of risk assessments and crime prevention advice. So after the police force, I went back, did some further study. So I did a criminology degree and I sort of majored in crime prevention. So the majority of my investigation work is dealing with corporate companies and providing crime prevention measures for internal or external theft. So it's probably not like I'm not a private eye per se. I don't go around sneaking around and making photos of people, but it's more the corporate side that I deal with. Yeah.
Since May 2017, you've been the team manager of the Australian Under-17s men's team, the Crocs. How did that come about?
I actually applied. There was a Basketball Australia advertised for that position, so I applied and luckily was successful. So that was leading up to the Asia Championships, which were in China. So we and at the time, FIBA had sort of changed the format to qualify for the World Cup. So part of it was to qualify through Asia. So we went over there to Foshan, and we did really well. I think we won the gold medal game against China by about 31.
Wow!
So the top 4 in that championships all qualified for the World Cup. So it was us, China, and then New Zealand beats the Philippines for the bronze medal. So all 4 of us then qualified for the World Cup, which was in 2018. And that was over in Santa Fe in Argentina. So and that was an unbelievable experience. I mean, especially for the kids, like, we'd play a game and then we came out a side door where all the buses were to transport us back to the accommodation, and we come out this door and there would have been 500 young locals all cordoned off, and all they wanted to do was get an autograph or a selfie with the players. So it was the first time that it happened. Our athletes just didn't realise what had hit them. So but we did pretty well. We ended up coming 6th at at the World Cup, which was a pretty creditable performance. And who do we have? We had Luke Jackson was in that team, so he cross-coded, and he's now got a AFL Premiership medal around his neck.
Yeah.
And we also had Jay Rantel in that team, who unfortunately I think just got cut by Collingwood. But that was a really good time at Argentina, and then came back, and Basketball Australia asked me was I happy to move up to the under 19, the Emus. So I was more than happy, and we went to New Caledonia for the Oceania Championships, and that was a really good experience. We beat New Zealand in the gold medal game there, but we played against teams like Guam and Papua New Guinea and Samoa and Tahiti. So it was really good experience. But winning the gold medal meant that we qualified again for the 20. I'm losing track of 2020 World Cup. So that was 2021. It was this year. So we went over to Latvia in June for the under 19 World Cup, and that was a good experience too. We finished 10th. We had some great athletes in there. Few NBL players. Bawali Bales, who's suiting up for Sydney Kings, and Jalen Galloway again, Sydney Kings, and Alder Gack, I think, up at Illawarra.
Yeah.
And we also had Dyson Daniels, who he's in the G League now. So, and I think he's maybe predicted to go pick 15 or 16.
Yeah, I think his first round, somewhere around there,
Yeah, so, there obviously some very talented athletes on our team. It was, in a lot of ways, it was pretty tough because of Latvia was actually in a reasonable position as far as COVID goes, but we did have to stay in a hotel bubble. So, it was tough on the athletes because we weren't allowed outside the building, and pretty much stuck to our rooms. But look, any time you can represent Australia, is great. So, that another great experience, and I loved it as well.
What's Dyson Daniels like as a player and as a person?
Yeah, well, he's a ripper, seriously athletic player. The thing I noticed in Latvia was his shooting ability. His three ball is really sweet. He actually hits it from way downtown, so his range is really good. And he's a lot similar. He's similar to Josh Giddey as his passing ability, and he's got a very good IQ on the court. So he was very good in Latvia, and I'm sure he'll have a really successful career too.
Now, you've also been a security guard for the Hawthorn Hawks. I believe it was through their premiership years too. What was that experience like for you?
Yeah, that's good fun, and it's something I still do. So I think I started in 2011. So at the time, Hawthorn wanted to increase their player welfare, and as a result, there's a few of us, 4 of us came on board just to help the club out. So, so I was certainly there for the three-peat, and it was an amazing experience. The Hawthorn players they understood what we were there for. So it was incredible to see them win those 3 cups, and then each occasion, because Hawthorn is sponsored by Tasmania, so we take the Premiership Cup down to Launceston and Hobart, and rip a guy, and I enjoy doing the work there, and I'll be back there again next year helping them out.
With that experience at the Hawks and various range of other sporting clubs, what experience or knowledge do you now have in sport teams and organisations now that you wouldn't have previously had?
Look, I think, the sport has certainly helped, particularly basketball has really helped me, as I said, I'm a hoops junkie. I've done everything. I've been, I've coordinated hoop time. I've coordinated big college championships. I've even answered the phones at Basketball Victoria office. So basketball itself has really thrown where I can work, around. So it's been really good. Excuse me. The work-wise, so obviously it stemmed from the police force. In dealing with people on the streets and all that, but and the same with investigation work, dealing with corporate companies. You have to be a people person. So and that's rubbed off with the Vic Metro stuff and the Australian stuff. I just enjoy conversing with people and helping them out as best as I can.
So you mentioned before we went on air for the podcast, you're sort of best mates and in a close group with Chris Anstey. What's it like to know Chris and then see his daughter Izzy Anstey, go off to UCLA?
Yeah, look, he's a ripper, Chris. I first met 2016. He was assistant coach for Vic Metro, and we went over to Adelaide for the championship. So, I got to know him really well. The interesting thing was, I think it was one of the first tryout sessions. We were just talking away, and Chris just happened to say, "Oh, where do you live?" And I said, "Parkdale." And he said, "I live in Parkdale too." So it was just something we didn't realise, and as a result, living so close, we've caught up a fair bit. So we've now got a little group, and then it includes some other basketball entities like Mark Worthington, Luke Kendall, who's at
Southeast Melbourne.
Yep, and obviously Cam Rigby's in there, and there's some state basketballers, Jamie Stave and Dave Pearson. So there's a few of us that we get together and talk about hoops, and which is a lot of fun. Chris and I actually just working on some US tours, which we're heading over to the States next year, which is late next year, which is going to be really, really exciting. So he's a good dude, Chris, and we get on really well.
So how's COVID affected you in terms of work? I mean, it's affected everyone in the world differently. Yeah,
look at it. It has been tough. I've managed to still do some work, both in the investigation field, probably not so much what I usually do, but I've been able to do some auditing and some other skills like that. The football dropped off a little bit because of the soft salary cap, so they had to reduce the numbers of staff. All clubs had to drop some staff, but look, I've managed some work, and I haven't found it too hard. Look, it's been tough, no doubt, for a lot of people, and the amount of people that lost jobs, and I always worried about mental health, which was something that I don't think was ever really discussed at political level. But look, it has been tough, and I'm glad we're obviously numbers are still up, but we're on the downhill path. So hopefully it'll get better soon.
One last question before we go. Covering a broad range of sports and security, what would be your best advice to anyone who wants to be a successful sports team manager or security guard or cop like yourself?
You just have to be flexible, I guess. With the Hawthorn stuff, there's obviously it can be challenging. You've got some people that just all they want to do is touch a football player or whatever. So sometimes you got to be tough on some of these people. But look, it's just as far as basketball goes and kids, what I like now in the high performance stuff is the fact that you've got athletes there that want to be there, so that they know that it's if they do the right thing, they work hard, that opens up the doors. So I just look, as I said, I'm a people person. I love conversing with people. Doesn't matter who they are or where they're from. I always try to have a decent chat with someone, and that's pretty much it, I guess.
Thanks, Mark, for coming on the podcast today and putting aside 40 minutes or so of your time to come and have a chat. It's been an honour and a pleasure.
Thanks very much, Max. Really appreciate the chance to have a chat. And as I said, it's to be on the podcast now with the likes of Gaze and Eddie McGuire. It's pretty surreal. But anyway, I've enjoyed having a chat, and hopefully I've been able to just fill in a little bit about my over 40 years now in basketball, and it's been a great ride. No worries. And I'm in the middle. That's what COVID's done. I'm in the middle of writing my memoirs. So I've written about 65,000 words. So when I get to publish the book, I'll make sure I send you a copy.
Thanks, Mark. Greatly appreciated.
Thanks, Max. Bye-bye.
All right, stay tuned, everyone, for Sporting Max.